Hello, welcome back. It has been a wild week since I last was here. I feel like there's so much change in my life all the time at the moment. It's kind of crazy to keep up with and it's exhausting. So just to quickly recap before we dig into today's spending video, which is about my no spend challenge. Just to update you a little bit, I last spoke to you when we were recovering from like a run of really bad illness. And we thought that we were through the worst of it. It's because the boys, our twins, have started nursery, and we had like a sick bug and a cold and stuff, and a couple of weeks of feeling really rotten. And then we thought we were through it, and we got hit with another sickness bug and a cold, and that cold got really bad, and one of our twins was struggling with their breathing, and we have the owlet socks so we can monitor like their oxygen levels and things, and they were premature, so that just gave us a little bit of peace of mind when we brought them home from the hospital. But thankfully we had it, and it flagged that his oxygen levels were low, and so he ended up in hospital. I stayed in hospital with him for 4 nights and he was on oxygen, and our other twin stayed at home here with my husband, his dad, and so it's been quite traumatic actually to be separated from one of the babies and to separate them because they've always been together. But we made it through. We are home and well now. I'm still at the back end of the cold. It's just one of those ones that just will not shift. But at the same time as all of this, I actually lost my job, which is quite devastating because it was a really lovely job. I worked with wonderful people, and I don't think I'll ever find that kind of flexibility again. So the company's actually closed down, it's really sad, and it's meant that sort of everything I've spoken about budgeting for when I return from maternity leave is kind of gone out of the window now. And I was struggling to work as it was because of the boys being so ill, settling into nursery. I was having to take lots of sick days and holidays myself because I needed to be off with them. I think that's like a really tricky thing to manage as a new mum, and going to be even worse that I now need to find a new job where I have that kind of flexibility. So I think I have enough money in savings and a little bit of redundancy pay that I can use to get me through the next few months, and I'm hoping that I can get the boys settled into nursery and get over all these bugs, and then in the new year I can look for a new job. Now, I was a bit confused about this, so I am going to mention it here just in case you've got young children starting nursery. I asked all of the doctors, is it better to hold them out of nursery and wait until they're older and stronger to expose them to all these bugs? And they said no, actually it's better to expose them younger. So that's kind of given me a peace of mind to persevere with it, because I did think, oh, I'm not working right now, should I just take them out of nursery? But I think at the end of the day I'm going to have to get a proper job, and yeah, they're going to need to go to nursery then. Fortunately with twins it's hard to leave them with a grandparent because it's a two-man job, so you need 2 available grandparents together. Anyway, without further ado, let's talk about my no spend challenge. So this is something that I wanted to do anyway with my reduced hours, because I was only going back to work 2 days a week, and I just wanted to make sure that I was really mindful with my money. But it's even more so important now because I am spending my savings and I really don't want to spend too much of it. So what I am going to do is use the budget that I had planned for my reduced working hours, and I'm going to try and spend as little of the spending money that I've allocated myself as possible. So I think, you know, a no spend challenge, it can quite often, it's a no spend month, a no spend year. I think it's also called like a spending ban and things like that. It's got lots of different titles, but call it what you want. Essentially, you need some sort of motivation to start it and to keep yourself going. I think if you haven't got a strong motivation and a reason why you're doing it, you're just going to fall off the wagon. So for me now, it's every penny that I can save is a little bit longer potentially that I can spend with the boys before I need to go into employment. So that's my motivation, just to stretch my money as long and as far as I possibly can. So first things first, make sure you know your motivation. And then secondly, you want to set out like a list of rules that apply to you, what you are going to allow yourself to spend on and what you're not going to allow yourself to spend on. And these will look very different for everyone, and your essentials will look very different to mine, for example. So the rules that I've set are that I can only purchase something if it's one of my essentials that has run out or broken that I need. So like if a pair of shoes that I wear all the time broke, I could replace them. If some toiletries toiletries or makeup run out that I use all the time, I can replace them. But I want to put a little bit of a pause in there just to make sure that I do want to buy it. So instead of going straight onto Amazon or Boots and pressing order on my phone, I'm going to just pause and see how long I can wait to order it. Ideally wait until the very end of the month, because I can see what pot of money I've got left at the end of the month, and then I can say, okay, I needed, so for example right now I need some setting powder and some foundation. I've run out of both, but I'm using an old foundation until I get to the end of the month, and then I will decide if I'm going to buy my usual expensive foundation or if I'm going to try something else, just depending on what I've got left at the end of the month. The next rule is not to buy any new clothes. This is for both me and the babies. I think we all have enough clothes as it is now. I've got a wardrobe full that I never wear. I literally wear leggings and a jumper every day. And so if I wanted something new, I could just shop my wardrobe. So that's something that I want to do more of. And then as for the babies, like I am a little bit limited for them on like long sleeve tops in the size that they're in, but they're soon going to be in the next size and I'm making do. So I do a load of washing every day. I think we can make do with what we've got. And for Christmas for the boys, I've asked everyone to buy them clothes for the next size up. So that should cover me for the next size for them as well. So no clothes. So gifts are within my budget as an acceptable thing to gift people. I'm not ruling out doing people's birthday gifts and Christmas gifts. I have a budget for Christmas already set, that's all sorted. And then birthdays I'll assess on a case-by-case basis and basically just find the most affordable present that I can for people. But that is something that I am allowing, is gifts. And then events and things for people's birthdays, meals out, meeting friends. When things like that come up, if they can, I will try and do something free. So if a friend wants to meet for a coffee or a dinner, I'll say, can we go for a walk, just to keep the budget down. But if it's like a big group thing and I didn't want to miss out, then of course I would go and I would pay for the meal. So it's just assessing it on a case-by-case basis and making a decision like that. So the next thing to look at is your triggers. What usually triggers you to buy something? For me, it can be if I'm having a stressful time and I feel like, oh, I've run out of that, I've run out of that. And in a bit of a mad panic, I'll just order everything that I need so it's not whizzing around in my head. To manage that, I try and keep a list on Notion on my laptop, and it's also on my phone, so I can just note things down, basically just to keep my head nice and clear so I never get into that panicked frenzy of, I need to buy so much stuff, where's my phone, let me just order it all, I've got 5 minutes, because I have so little time. Another trigger for me is when I feel really self-conscious. Usually if I've got an event or something to go to and I'm just feeling a bit like low self-esteem, I'll think, oh, I need to buy fake tan and a new outfit and some new shoes, and I get my nails done and all these things that I don't really need. So that's something that I have to watch out for in myself as well. But I've not got any events like that coming up, so fingers crossed I'll be okay. So that's sort of an overview of the no spend challenge and what it looks like for me. I'm going to take you through my budget now. You can see a previous video of mine where I showed you how I mapped out my maternity leave budget. I kind of simplified my spreadsheet a lot now just so I can see a basic layout of what I'm going to allocate myself each month. And as I said, I'll be taking this out of my savings, so I just want it to last as long as it possibly can. So this is like what I would have been paid on the 12 hours a week that I was going back to work for. But like I say, I'm going to try and spend as little as possible. So let's dive in. Okay, I've just hit record. Hopefully you can see my screen okay here. So this is, as I said, a very simplified top level version. It's nothing pretty. It's just so I can see it nice and clearly. So the salary that I would have been taking is £887 a month. And the child benefit that I receive is £170 a month. That's a little bit more for twins because you do get paid for 2 children rather than 1. So I'm going to continue to pay myself. It's going to be a drawdown from savings, £887, and that will give me a total income of £1,057. So if you watch my previous video, I was living off about £1,500. So we have done some things to reduce my costs, and that is mostly that my husband is paying more into our joint account now. So you'll see I've really simplified the budget, but the main thing is that the amount that I'm putting into the joint account has significantly decreased. So under my expenses, my joint account bills are now £675, and I think they were over £1,000 before. I've got my phone, which is £20, and then the storage, I don't know why I pay them, I don't know how to sort the phone storage out, but then my storage costs. For my phone. And then personal costs, this is where like my budgeting comes in. So I'd left myself £250 for general spending, which covers like any bits and bobs that I need, toiletries, anything for the boys, any gifts, meals out, things like that with friends. And then I've got £30 a month for Christmas, and I save that all year. It's not very much, but it gives me that little pot, and we have a really simple Christmas. I'll be doing a video on that soon, and I don't have to spend very much. So that covers me, that £30 a month, and I don't really notice it. So I'm going to carry on popping that to one side. And then haircuts, I'm not sure what I'm going to do about haircuts, if I'm honest. It's really expensive. I get it done every 4 months, so it's £200 every time, and I am due to go now. I had to cancel it when we were in hospital. I'm not sure if I'm going to rebook it or not, considering the no spend challenge that I'm doing. I'm not sure whether to just part hair, but you know, the root situation, the greys, I don't know. Don't know if I can do it, we'll see. And then my eyebrows, my friend does my eyebrows, and it's not very expensive, it's £13, so happy with that. And then you can see these are all my savings and investments pots that I used to put money into every month when I was working full time, and now I am putting nothing away. I'm actually spending the savings, which is kind of depressing, but that's what they're there for. We set ourselves up so we could be in a position that if either one of us lost our jobs, we would be okay and we could survive for a few months. Thankfully it's me on the lower income who's lost my job, because we would obviously struggle a lot more if it was my husband, but for now that's okay that I'm not putting anything aside, and I'm happy with that. So £16 remaining. I like to just leave a little bit of a float in there just in case, you know, there's something that goes out that I've forgotten about, but yeah. So I really hope that was helpful to you if you're in a similar position to me or trying to work on a budget. I know I'm very fortunate to be in a position where I can budget my savings like this, so I'm very grateful for that. Thanks so much for watching if you've got this far. I'm off to put a slow cooker chicken dinner on now before the boys wake up, hopefully, and I will see you in the next video. Bye.